Coming up tonight on Bus News. I go around West Lothian seeing the state of the bus network 1 year after the big debacle with McGill's Eastern Scottish. Hey, what's going on, guys? Me, Mortimer here, and yeah, this is another one of these Bus News videos where I go out and actually do stuff outside. Difference being, I'm feeling quite under the weather this time. Started feeling under the weather during the trip. I just love my immune system. But anyways, as of the day this is being uploaded, it's been, I think, pretty much bang on a year since my first video about the whole West Lothian bus debacle came out. And quite a bit of stuff's changed since then. You can essentially think of this as a part 3 to Bus News episode 9. So I essentially just spent all of Bank Holiday Monday a few weeks ago going around West Lothian, looking at passenger numbers across multiple routes. The first of those being the X18. Thing is, I did the 8 o'clock X18 from Waterloo Place, which meant that I got into Whitburn before 10, so I think you can imagine just how busy it actually was. He thinks 9 AM on a bank holiday Monday morning is probably not the best time to review how well used a bus service is. It's not even 10 AM and I'm already in Whitburn. I think you could probably estimate how well used that bus service was. Not well, it wasn't well used at all. It's a bank holiday Monday morning. Of course it won't be. Anyways, hello everyone. I've not done a proper intro yet, but I'm currently at Heartland Services in Whitburn. It's about 10 AM. I'm gonna hop into McDonald's, grab some tea, and then I'm gonna take 902 out to Livingston to see how the passenger numbers are and maybe do some extra filming, who knows. Here we are. Hey, yeah. Signal please, Livingston. Sure. Thank you. Alright, I am now officially on the 902. It's on a Claxton Leopard, which I'm happy about because these buses are absolutely class. So yeah, just pulling onto the MA, should be in Livingston in about 15 minutes, so yeah, see you then. Alright, thank you very much, sir. Have a great day.
I will try.
There we go. So yeah, the 902 is one of the routes that's been quite changed since the whole West Lothian situation. As recently, it has been rerouted via Broxburn instead of staying on the M8 between Livingston and Newbridge. And it has more recently been extended from Edinburgh Airport to York Place in Edinburgh City Centre via the Giles Centre, and then the same route as the 909 from there, and then essentially a one-way loop through Edinburgh City Centre. Not the most interesting change, it's kind of just like the old McGill's Eastern Scottish X24, but it's run by CityLink on coaches, and I'd say Plaxton Panthers, in my eyes, are on par with the streetlights used on the X24. Then again, I actually like streetlight door front models, so I know that there's only going to be about 2.5 people who watching this video who agree with me. So yeah, now the 902 is essentially just the X24, but it's a slightly different route and it goes out to Glasgow. Alright, so I did some analysis on the 902. When I got on, there were 17 people on it, including myself. Out of those 17 people, 11 of them got off at the Livingston Centre, so I think it's been a success, with the new implementation and whatnot. I know it's been in service for like a year and a half now, but who cares? Additionally, someone got on at the Fast Link stop at Howden, so that makes peak capacity of 18 on the 16 minutes I was there. Anyways, now I'm going to do some further analysis, and I'm going to go on the SD Travel Service 9, which is on an E200, so I think I've kind of struck gold. Hey, sir. Single, please. Alright, so I'm currently going through Deadwood West. This progress just from the move from E&M to XD travel has always been quite exciting to me. It has changed quite a bit. Not lucky getting E200 over a Mellor Strata because, I mean, let's face it, the Stratas, they're not the greatest. These aren't either, but they're better. But yeah, so far, 6 people got on at the Livingston Centre. One of them's got off so far. I'll see if anyone else gets on. So yeah, I wanted to do an FRV on this, but my camera's being all strange, and it's a cheaper, like 30 quid camera I got off of Amazon in 2020. So you can imagine about how well it's performing. So yeah, I wanted to do an FRV, but since it's been acting up since I got off the X18 at Whitburn, I decided to just give it a few minutes to just chill. And by a few minutes, I mean about 4 hours. Alright, so just left Livingston South Station. So far, still sticking with the same folks, but well, aside from the one person who got off at West Edgeridge, but yeah, it's 11:15, so we're roughly a third of the way through the route, I'd say, give or take about 5 minutes. Overall, I'd say the route's nice. It's far from the most interesting, but most local routes are like that, so... And now, I have the entire bus to myself. And once again, we're just leaving Livingston South. There's currently now another 7 people on board, including myself, so it's pretty well used. That totals out to a total of 12 people who have been on the bus just in the past 35 minutes, so probably just going to go direct back to the Livingston Centre now. We're now just approaching the last stretch of the route. Last stop should just be around the corner, so yeah. We're 3 minutes behind schedule, but compared to what I'm used to in Edinburgh, that's nothing. Alright, thank you very much, sir. Have a great day. There we go. Yeah, the 9 is an interesting route, as when it was with E&M Horsburgh until October of last year, it was split into 2, well, technically 3 routes, the 9A, B, and C. The 9B only operated like rush hour and would go from the Pumferston E&M depot to the Sky HQ to the Livingston Centre via the whole old 9 route. Then there's the 9A and 9C, which combine to make service every half hour Monday to Saturday between Muirston and Livingston. The routes were slightly different in Muirston, but I think that's fair. Now the 9A and 9C have been fused from 2 combined half-hourly services into 1 hourly service, albeit that new hourly service is, I'm not gonna dance around it, I think quite a bit better. I did get quite lucky though, as I got an E200, which I think is better than both of the minibuses that were seen on it, and they're definitely better than the Plaxton Pointer that E&M had. That bus sucked. Behind me is bus 1035. I'm gonna take it up to Dean's and see what the passenger numbers are like. Let's go. Hiya. Single please, Dean's. Thank you. Probably not going to do much filming on this bus because there are 42 people on board and there's looks to be like another 5 people getting on currently, so that's fun. So yeah, I think the 73 desperately needs a frequency increase. I think it's not the route with Lothian Country that most needs a frequency increase, but good God, it would do well if it did get one. I think the main services that could do with a frequency increase are the 72 going up to half-hourly, even if only between Whitburn and Broxburn. That'd be amazing. And then there's the X27 and X28, which I think should combine to make service every 15 minutes Monday to Saturday between Bathgate and Edinburgh instead of every 20 minutes, because the 40-minute integers are weird. But I'd say after those two, hopefully get frequency increases. I'd say the 73 is definitely a contender to get a frequency increase too. Only problem is the way that it combines with the 74, because when the 73 reaches the Livingston bus station, it becomes a 74 to Fauldhouse. I don't think there's demand for the 74 to be half-hourly. I think there's enough demand for it to be hourly, but not much more than that. I saw quite a few on my day in Livingston. They were busy enough, but not busy enough to warrant anything more frequent than hourly. But I think 74 doesn't need frequency increase, but the 73 does, so they'd have to rework it quite dramatically. Alright, so I'm outside the site of the old McGill's Eastern Scottish depot, which is now essentially just a Brightbus depot with a couple of Flixbus vehicles, because McGill's runs some Flixbus routes in Scotland. So for the 4.5 of you watching this video who don't know who Eastern Scottish are, it's essentially kind of the same company as Brightbus. Originally, First Eastern Scottish, all the West Lothian routes went out of service towards the latter half of 2023, and then their West Edinburgh routes sort of disintegrated and were re-teched, so redesigned and awarded to Lothian and Handicaps Lothian in July of 2024. Now the depot is, as I've stated, primarily the house of Brightbus tours and a couple of Flixbus routes. So now I feel like I'm in a good position. There's not much cars, so I'm going to talk around about the statistics of the buses I was on. So when I was on the 9, there were a total of 14 people, 5 of which got off at the Livingston Centre, and the remaining 3 sort of got on and off in between those stops. As for the 73, I counted about 63 people. For the most part, it stayed roughly around 48 people on the bus at any given time. I'd say about 30 people got on and about 20 got off by the time I was off, which was at the stop for the McGill's depot. So I think that the 9, I'd say, is at a good frequency as is. I'd say having a 50-minute route with 40-minute curtailment time wouldn't work out well. So I think every hour and a half would be a bit stupid for it. As for 73, I think it desperately needs a frequency increase. I'd say at least every 40 minutes. But additionally, McGill's, they haven't really announced it, but they're starting a new route under Brightbus, the 801 from Edinburgh Airport to Royston Hall in Deans. They're so desperate for money that they've turned the dead runs on the Airport Express into an actual service. Whilst we're outside the McGill's depot, I just wanted to talk about how all the routes in West Lothian have progressed due to the withdrawals of the 6 routes in West Lothian. So, the first routes to get withdrawn were the X22, Livingston to Edinburgh via East Calder, and the X24, St John's Hospital to Edinburgh via Livingston Town Centre and Broxburn. X24, it's basically being replaced by the 902, just slightly less frequent, which I think it deserves, because the X24 was far from the most well-used route. X22, it's kind of being replaced by the Lothian Country X40, as its route's being changed quite a bit, which kind of makes it work as a slight replacement for the X22. So that was the 15th of October 2023. Afterwards, you had the events of the 3rd of December 2023, when McGill's withdrew the 21, 23, 25, and 26 routes. The 21, which provided a link between Bathgate, Blackburn, and Livingston, that got replaced between Blackburn, Bathgate, and Livingston by the new Lothian Country Service 73. However, instead of doing Bathgate to Livingston via Blackburn, it does Blackburn to Livingston via Bathgate. It's complicated. And as for the extension of the 21 from Bathgate to Blackridge, the SD Travel Service 21 has now replaced that. It's still serving Falside and what have you, however it's extending to Blackridge, which means that it now has a vehicle requirement of 2 as opposed to 1, which is bit annoying, but I mean, at least Blackridge are actually getting a bus service outside of like 10 p.m. And then we have the 23, which I think is the most complicated out of all of these routes. Between Broxburn and Whitburn, it was replaced by the Lothian Country Service 72. However, Livingston Village didn't get a replacement as the 72 went through Ellieburn instead. Since there's demand for a bus through Ellieburn, there isn't demand for a bus through Livingston Village at an hourly frequency. And then from Whitburn Cross, the 72 doesn't go to Whitburn West End. It instead goes down to Falthouse, which is a good link. However, if you want to get from Whitburn Cross to Whitburn West End, you still have the X18. And for the bit between Whitburn, West End, and Shotts, the old Scottish City Link 23, which was the tender the West Lothian Council made, the Scottish City Link took over under Harry Haggis. On the 14th of July 2024, the tender then got moved to Stewarts of Carluke, which now run it on EVM City lines, which is interesting, but okay. And then we have the 25, which, unlike the 21, was replaced by the 73, as the 25 and 73 have basically the exact same route between Livingston and Bathgate. However, the 25 went to Armadale. However, now if you want to get to Armadale from Livingston, you have to swap from a 73, X27 or X28 onto an X18 at Bathgate Town Centre or somewhere like Boghall. And then I said that the 23 is probably the most complex, but if anything, I think the 26 replacement's the most complex. So essentially, the bit between Livingston North and Livingston Town Centre has been withdrawn. Now I guess you could just swap onto like an X27 or something to Livingston North and then walk down to Livingston North Station. And then from Livingston Town Centre to Fauldhouse, it's now being served by Lothian Country Service 74, which does the same route, except it doesn't go down to Fauldhouse Station, nor does the 72, which replaced the 26 between Fauldhouse and Whitburn. The reason that the 72 and 74 don't go down to the station and only terminate in the town centre now is because of the low bridge at Fauldhouse, which has already caused Lothian to lose one of their vehicles and nearly lose another earlier on this year. The southwest end of Fauldhouse is still being served, though. Stewarts of Carluke have their service 34A, and more recently the 34B, which is basically the same as the 34A. However, the 34A only has about 2 return trips a day, and the 34B's done a slightly quicker route, which means it only has a vehicle requirement of 2 as opposed to 3, taking 55 minutes either way, with a 5-minute curtail at both Lanark and a 5-minute curtail at Livingston. Additionally, the 34B uses MCV Avoras instead of EVM City lines, which means that for people staying in Breach, they can actually get a quote-unquote high capacity service, because EVM City lines can fit, like, 25 people? The Avoras can fit, 50, maybe 60. And then we have the E&M routes. The 40 just got withdrawn entirely. X40 went to Lothian Country with quite a bit of change. And I've already discussed the situation with the 9A, B, and C being replaced by the SD Travel 9, so yeah. And then as for the 7, which was a rush hour only service, that can basically be achieved between Livingston Town Centre and Kirkliston via either the SD Travel 16 or Lothian Country Service 72, and then up to Queensferry you can exchange onto a Lothian Country Service 71. So those are all the routes that have been replaced that were originally ran by either E&M or Eastern Scottish. I'm quite happy that SD Travel is getting a bit more attention around West Lothian. I'm also quite happy that Lothian Country are able to expand their network again after quite big downfall they had in 2022, and by a big downfall I mean a pretty strategic move. But yeah, I've sidetracked long enough. This is currently 9 minutes of uncut ranting about the E&M and Eastern Scottish withdrawals, so let's just get back on track. I think now's probably as good a point as ever to let our viewers, i.e. people on our Discord server, link in the description, have a say on what they feel like about the West Lothian network compared to what it was this time last year. So, yeah, take it away. First of all, we have Central Scotland Buses' very own Charlie Gunn.
West Lothian. Very good topic. I don't live in West Lothian. I go there like maybe 7 or 8 times a year. I don't really care about the bus network, to be frankly honest.
Okay, underwhelming start. What about our Discord server members? From user at YTCaltech, in my opinion, I'd like if Lothian Country could operate more routes and increase frequencies on some examples of some things I would like to see include, and I am going to be giving my honest review of each of these. Service 72 going up to every half hour with service every 20 minutes during peak times. I like the every half hour thing, but I think it'll only be between Whitburn and Broxburn. And additionally, West Lothian isn't massive for people commuting to and from places in West Lothian, so I think it could probably stay every half hour. Livingston local service introduced. I am a fan of this if it's something like the old first bus service 27, as I always wanted to do an FRV on it and then it got withdrawn and I was sad. However, I think since the 9 already exists, there's not too much reason for one through South Livingston. Maybe one through like Carmondine and Ladywell would be cool, but otherwise, nah. Service X17 brought back? Nah. 74 is basically the same route between Fauldhouse and Livingston. And then from Livingston, you can do the same route on the 902. Or hell, if not, it's much easier to take an X27 or X28 into Edinburgh from there. McGill's Eastern Scottish Service X24 introduced. This is the same situation. You can just do the exact same route with the 902 bar Waterloo Place. And sure, you might not be able to take the 902 to St John's Hospital, but the 73 and X40 provide basically the exact same link from the Livingston Centre anyway, so... Service X40 calling at Straighton Park and Ride? I wonder why you suggest that. Livingston to Falkirk link introduced. If McGill's are willing to extend the 29 from Bathgate to Livingston through all hours of the day, then I'd be a fan. If not, I think we'd have to rely on either Lothian Country or City Link providing that. Livingston to Linlithgow link introduced. Lothian Country Green Arrow routes reintroduced. This'd be cool. Honestly, I'd love to be able to get the EX1 out to Bathgate, because, quite frankly, I don't like spending money on the train, and the X18 takes a little too long for my likings. Also, the Plaxton Leopards used on the Green Arrow routes were so much nicer than I think any other bus on the Lothian Country fleet was or is. Flixbus Service 90 or Scottish City Link Service 900 rerouted to serve Livingston Town Centre. I have no belief in the 900 serving Livingston Town Centre, but I think, knowing Flixbus, I think there is a chance that in the eyes of competition, Flixbus might reroute the 90 through to the town centre. Then again, I think I'd rather they just kept it at Deer Park and then, say, SD Travel ran a link route between Deer Park and Livingston Town Centre, or not even a link route, just an extra bus, maybe up to Bathgate, or maybe another link up to Falkirk, as Callum's already suggested. That'd be nice, but alas. SD Travel Service 16 moved to Lothian Country buses and renumbered to the 75. Nah, just keep it at SD. I think they deserve more money. And lastly, a service between Glasgow and Galshiels via West Lothian. Yeah, Callum, I'm sorry, but I think it's more likely that Stagecoach would buy out Lothian than they'd run this route. Cool concept, but doubt it'd happen. From user @TransEmily, I feel thankful that the Easdales no longer have such a stranglehold, but simultaneously feel bad for the people of West Lothian who now have a worse bus service as a result of Lothian not having the spare vehicle capacity to mop it up. User @BlazeClone says, as someone who doesn't live in West Lothian, I found the infrequent service a bit tricky to change buses with. Going from every 30 minutes to every hour, not in all places though, is a bit of a shame. Now obviously it isn't easy to run the network frequently with a fleet of without any single-decker buses, but I'd still like to see them run more often. Also, though some areas may have been lacking in any major service, I think without smaller buses, this isn't feasible for Lothian to provide. User @ThatCoolDespa says, Lothian should buy, say, 20 to 30 second-hand streetlight door front models, since, as proven by First Bus and McGill's, they have proven to be quite good. Additionally, they have stated that they think that the 72 should be cut with a second route introduced, probably Livingston to Fauldhouse. User @LothianBuses Photos says, I think, considering the circumstances, Lothian have done well to get back into local services in West Lothian. The 1771 helping with that as well, meaning Kirkliston and associated areas also get better fares. And as a consequence, McGill's now have a £1 fare zone in Edinburgh now, but I don't know too much about that. Lothian didn't have enough vehicles to provide a very stable service, though what they have managed to do is great. I think if there was a way that the 70 and 71 didn't hog resources for Lothian Country, increasing it would be good, but Longstone is also struggling. It has shown a lot of successes with routes proving that there is profit to be made in West Lothian. I'm sure passengers will be happy if there are increases in the future. Routes like Service 72 have proved to be busy, almost too busy in fact. With resources improving in the near future, with the arrivals of BZLs, hopefully some increases can be made on this route, but maybe even others. Extending to Linlithgow and further outwards would be a great thing, though at the moment I don't think it should be the biggest focus. It should be securing the networks for local services, like in the depths of West Lothian, and most importantly, establishing a sense of trust. Thankfully, the places that Lothian don't serve are covered by other operators at this time, but there are still places to expand to. I think that a lot of people will be disappointed with the frequencies, but considering the resources in both drivers and vehicles, they've had a good crack at it. However, if there isn't development in the future, I feel like it will be disappointing and show that Lothian aren't fully committed in the area, although hopefully you all know that there will be increases. User at Brody04663 says,
I'd say it's doing well, really. Buzz Network's doing good.
Alright, so I'm now on 580 on an X28. I'm heading out to Bathgate Town Centre. Fairly quiet at the moment, I'd say. I think about 10 people on board. Then again, there's an X27 right in front of us, and that's basically the exact same route, so... The short answer as to why I chose this bus over the X27 is because this bus has USB sockets and the other one doesn't, so... I swear, B5TL and B5LH chassis always sound amazing when they're on really fast country roads. Just to say that these Gemini 3 B5LHs are capped at 44 miles an hour, so it's fun. I'm not going to monitor the passenger numbers on this bus much because I'm going to be taking the X28 back in about an hour. Thank you very much. Have a great day. There we go. So I wasn't able to film on the X28 because I took unwell all of a sudden. And by I took unwell, I meant I got a really sore throat and was struggling to speak, and my nose got really blocked, so I sounded like a nasally pig like this, which was fun. And my camera was acting up, so I wasn't able to do an FRV either, so that was unfortunate. But overall, across the entire route, I managed to count 48 people using it, which is a bit lower than normal, I will say. So yeah, I counted 48 people on my X28, 8 boarded in Bathgate, 2 alighted and 1 boarded in Boghall, 2 alighted and 6 boarded in North Deans, 4 boarded in Knightsbridge, 3 alighted and 2 boarded in Ladywell, 4 alighted and 3 boarded at St John's Hospital, 12 alighted and 19 boarded at Livingston Town Centre, 1 alighted at West Dedridge, 2 people alighted at Mid Calder, 3 alighted and 1 boarded at East Calder, 1 person boarded at Kirk Newton, 1 person boarded at Hermiston, 1 person alighted and 1 boarded at Ballgreen, and the remaining 17 people on board alighted in the city centre. Another route thing I have forgotten to mention this episode is Flixbus now run a service 90 between Edinburgh and Glasgow, which only stops at a couple stops along the entire route. At Hart Hill Services and Deer Park in Livingston, which means that just off Livingston Road, you can get yet another link to Edinburgh, admittedly a slightly quicker one, but... And also, it's a coach, which sure the 902 is, but the 902 takes slightly longer because it serves Broxburn, Edinburgh Airport, and the Gall Shopping Centre, which probably adds on, like, 20 minutes. But yeah, that's all I have to discuss for this episode. This is dragging on. I have like half an hour of unedited footage, so I'm going to get to editing that. So yeah, until next time, adios folks.